I say color your pocket on no good is lagado. Jelly the boss in my body. Say make a salute your command. Girl if you balance Diego, I keep paper. Go do me Diego, na Maradona. Girl if I lap you as a way to, na Maporisa. Girl your body be tornado. I don't go follow your Curesco. Today on the grace, for the ways, and I go
or any of them is to ensure that they understand, you communicate to them, they understand why the size of the potential of this industry to reduce poverty, to take people, the young people away from the street. It is our duty to let them understand.
All right, thank you very much. Kole, Pablo Picasso said that the chief enemy, please go ahead and clap for him, that's fine. Pablo Picasso said the chief enemy of creativity is good sense. I'm going to tie that to structure. How have you been able to bridge the gap between ideas and structure? After that, I'll come to the audience.
I've been very intentional. When I started this, I'll say 2005. That was when we registered Golden Effects, and when we were going to make our first film, I remember I said to myself, I don't want to do what everybody was doing, and I managed to not cut corners, but capitalize on areas where people are not focusing, and then the Rapada became a success. And after then, it was triggering, and I said, no, we have to take it higher. But then I was very conscious of mindful of the ecosystem. I'll say I'm a bit lucky that, I came from that background. My father and his contemporaries, Ogundia and the rest of them, I saw their structure. And even up till now, I still go back to some of my father's files to read some of the contracts because I have access to those files. That's my own inheritance. I took some of those files, so I'm always reading them. And I have contracts that he signed with the likes of Fality when he wanted to do his first film in 1978, acquiring the rights to Omolokwenshi, and all of that. And the contract with all of the group, theater group and all of that. And we don't even do that much details now. Usually we call those people illiterate, but they were more structured than what we have now. There were contracts and all. So for me, I thought there is need for us to have a more structured and robust ecosystem. Whenever it is we want to film, we'll hire a caterer, and then we'll hire, and I felt, okay, what if I have, I could open a canteen, even if not a proper catering, and from there, after started. So we started in Lagos, and we started with Cap Hall. Cap Hall is in Ikeja, and within Cap Hall, I thought, okay, we need to have a school, because every day, young people will reach out to you asking or saying their life depends on you, saying they saw you in their dream and you are their problem solver. So, and I thought, how could we, there's no way you can individually cater for these people. So we set up a school, and then we have a cinema, Cap Cinema. It's an ecosystem because in my head, I'm like, okay, let's create a one-stop shop for creative. And from there, when people come, when they eat there, when we talk, other ideas, will come up. And that has really helped. Sorry, don't cut me like that. Let me just quickly land. And because we started this, that brought interest from outside. We did partnership with MasterCard Foundation. In fact, we've never gotten any support towards the academy from Nigerian government. It's always been US Embassy, MasterCard Foundation, French Embassy, all of those people, right? And from there, we managed to extend it, and made a bigger move, outside of Lagos. So I'm saying, first you have to be intentional. If this is all about just making money and living like a celebrity, that we are. I don't need to be doing all of that, but building capacity and catering for, those young people that will tell our own story is something that, is of a key interest to me.
Thank you very much. All right, so will there be anyone in the audience? EME says we will take two so that you don't think I'm the wicked one. Okay, I'll take from that side, yes. The man in black. Yes, please. Who passes the mic now? Sarah Shebola.
Yeah, I still say forget the banks. No, honest God truth, forget the banks. Because the way banks are structured, banks are quantitative. They want to see inflow and outflow. They want to see a track before they come in. Are you getting me now? But if we build a subculture, a sub-economy that stands between you and the banks, then just might work. You get a subculture who understand the banks and also understand the informed middle of people who understand what the bank wants and also understands what you want. That fund takes the risk with the banks, you get me now, and then offloads to you. You get it? That's one. Now for you, how do you attract those things? Very simple. Two things I'm saying here now. You depersonalize your business. Personalize your business. You get it? So Kuda Folayo should be totally different from Udeme Company. Come on. You get it? Schema risk. There's schema risk everywhere. There's schema risk everywhere. Somewhere now trying to do a festival. One man and the director, one man and the makeup artist, one man and the. No. You depersonalize it. You get it? Build the structures, have corporate governance. Corporate governance. Let people know, let people see what they call collective decision taking. And when there's collective decision taking, then there's collective responsibility. So an investor or someone who wants to be part of you would have that confidence. Do you understand? So I'll do something now, and what is everything? And I'm saying, what if something happens to you? Do you get? How do we react? And that's the depersonalize and then
All right, Kule.
Sorry, I think what works for A might not work for B. Because that depersonalizing thing can never work for me. My personal input. Look, my friends and I were always talking, and I remember, excuse me, I have another friend who is doing very well in the industry. And I remember she used to, a platform was established in partnership with another bigger establishment. And most of the time, when it comes to finances, everything goes into that. Oh, sure, so, and one day, I think she wanted to do a project, and then she couldn't access money. And quite a number of times I remember she asked me, and they said, "Who are your board members?" And I said, "It's me and Mommy." And I said, "Even Mommy said I signed her signature." So it's me pretty much. And really, and I said, because I feel that I could handle a lot of these things. If it works for you, fine. If you think you don't have the capability, then you can always have. If you follow, and I'm not saying don't follow structure, but there are structures. The structure that works in the US might not work in Nigeria. The Hollywood structure will not work in Nigeria. The Nigerian structure will not work in Ghana. The Ghana structure will not work in Benin or in Cameroon. So I think it's important that, surround yourself with the right people, whether formally or informally. And I think that works better than, all of these overemphasized putting yourself in something that cups your hand and you're not able to think. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Finally, yes. Finally,
Okay,
standing by.
Just 50 seconds. Because one has had opportunity to talk around the world, and at the end of the day, there are no actions. So please don't mind Joseph. Don't forget the past. what he said about forming a committee, engaging the banks, and this is actually why it's that was important. We need them, please.
Okay, finally, are you jittery about AI or emboldened by it? I mean, ChatGPT 5 is out now. They say it's equivalent to having 5 professors answer your questions. Is it endangering the creative industry, or very quickly?
I think based on principle, technology is meant to support and to enhance, to improve. So that's what AI will continue to do.
All right, thank you very much, Kule.
For me, they're always saying it's not going to take your job. That's a lie. It's going to take a lot of people's job. If you don't key in, a lot of people in creative who focus mainly on writing and research are going to lose their jobs. Alright, so if you don't want to lose your job, then you have to find a way to be better than AI, really. Those that will enjoy, or rather, I think with people who have a show, if you're handy and you do craft and all of that, I might not be able to, take that. But if they say, I'm a creative writer, I'm a this and that, it's going to affect it. So we all need to be,
All right, Joseph, you do theater, you're on stage. Are you emboldened by AI, or you're jittery about it?
No, so I pity those I work with. I can't affect me because I want to go and look for the money. Yes, but so I once went to someone's office and we were talking and they said, let me write the script for you now. And I'm like, how? And then he did that thing with the laptop. I told him, don't write the script like this. And I'm asking myself, because I know how much I've paid for script in the last 2-3 years. Yeah. So the script writer, like I said, all of that, but for me, I'm safe.
All right, finally, Mary, you convene a finance, film finance outfit. Is it a threat?
I think it's an enabler, and it would really help the finance industry. So there's something called green lighting for a script to go into production. And since most of the financiers do not understand the intricacy, normally there is like a group of people that are like they do script coverage, and they'll be able to tell you if this script, if you make a film out of it, it's going to make money. So currently there is AI has been, there's a company that basically is a film tech company that has enabled for you to just plug in the script in there, and it tells you the value of the project and if it's going to make money. So I think even for the financiers, it won't really be an enabler, because then you don't have to go to film school to understand all these things. You can trust a system that has been put together by experts, to enable that. That's just an example of what I think AI can really do for the industry.
All right, a round of applause for our panelists, Mary Ifrenegas, Joseph Edgar, Mike Dada, and Kule Balonwu. Thank you very much for your time. A round of applause for yourselves as well.
Thank you.
What do you do? To be fighting, what do you do?
He has played key roles in cultural administration and policy formulation, both nationally and internationally. He currently serves as Secretary General of Nigerian chapters of both the Federation of African Film Critics and the International Federation of Film Critics. He is also chairman of the Dance Guild of Nigeria and a pioneer member of the National Dance Company of Nigeria. With a passion for policy, mentorship, and media development, Dr. Shuaibu Hussaini continues to champion structures that support creativity, accountability, and excellence in Nigeria's growing film and cultural industries. Dr. Shuaibu Hussaini.
We also have Dr. Abiodun Famakinwa. Is it Famakinwa? I don't know. Yes, it's Famakinwa.
Famakinwa, nonsense. I beg you. Anyway, I said you can blame me for all the. So, Dr. Abiodun Famui.
Let me quickly find his bio.
decades of experience in technology, project management, and strategic leadership. He holds a first-class honors degree in statistics. First-class honors in statistics from the University of Ibadan and an MBA from the University of Lagos. His career at First Bank began in 2001. He quickly rose through the ranks,
demonstrating a talent for leading high-impact projects and teams. He moved to the Products and Channels Division in 2009, where he held several key roles, including Head of Data Mining and Report, Head of Project Management and Automation, and Head of the Money Transfer Department. During his tenure as Head of Money Transfer from 2012 to 2014, his team's transformative changes earned them recognition as the bank's second most customer-centric team. A certified professional with multiple affiliations, Abiodun is a dedicated team player and an effective leader. Outside of his professional life, he enjoys reading inspirational books.
Address two of the issues that were directed at bankers. I think it was Duke of Shomolu, Joseph Edgar, as you know him, that said, no, don't go to banks. I saw that much and I tried to correct it. Don't deal with bankers, even though he was an investment banker at some point. Is that correct? Is that a myth, or is it a reality? When they say don't go there, try and raise your money by yourself. Even though if you drill down correctly, you see that possibly 65% of the funding and sponsorship that Joseph Edgar himself is using comes from the banks before we talk government. And then the other part will be to know what your banks have done specifically for the industry. The First Bank, I know of course of the First Arts initiative, and for Providence, we can't mention your bank without looking at what you've done for World Poetry Day, for Professor Wole Soyinka, for the Hive, different things like that. Talk to us about.
Is still struggling to understand the creative economy. Over to you, sir. Yes, please, Dr. Ayo.
All right, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. And first, I would like to thank the entire creative participants around the visibility they're giving to the country. We cannot thank you enough. 100 million naira, or they call the intervention for 5 billion. And in my mind, I look at it in dollars. How much is this for a market that is projected in 2030 to be $100 billion? So we need to really support this space in terms of what we can do. But what we do now is on case by case basis. So if you bring it on, we'll profile it and then provide the funding. Now we have funded about 4, but I can tell you it is a sweet and sour story. The payment has not been done.
When you say you funded 4,
yeah.
What are we talking about?
Okay, so we're looking at like 4 entities that were provided funding for, and it came to about 1.5 billion out of the funding structure. The pricing was
of 5 billion.
Yes.
1.5
billion. But that 1.5 was not good, as we speak. So it is a true negative representation of what we intend. We're not saying that this is the representative or the representation of all. Just like what Edgar was saying around the investment banking part. The truth is, it is a bumpy road for the bank. We need the bank to understand. Because what the bank will ask for, they probably will ask for some sort of collateral. But again, we can swing it and provide indemnity, some insurance cover, because it's more or less like I said, it's a bumpy ground that we really need to take care of while we're funding.
All right, Dr. Aria, before you give the mic to Dr. Pamela, let's drill down a bit. These 4 entities that will get, I believe they will ultimately get it, or they've gotten it.
They're not ready.
What disbursed? Who are they? What sort of project?
No, it's not for this forum.
Okay, so what sort of project were able to pass through to get 1.5 billion?
Okay, so the process is, or the project is actually, I think, is film making, and like we said,
all the 4 are film.
Yeah, film making. And again, the thing is that I think the discussion we had around that, which again I think the last part of the panel mentioned, it's more like a speculative arrangement. It's just like somebody who thinks his son will be sweet and he ends up not getting. So what do you call it? It don't blow, you understand? So that responsibility. But as far as the bank is concerned, it is your savings account, it's your current account that I'm deploying to lend money to someone else. So what matters right now is we look at it and say, perhaps the interest rate might not be okay, and we brought it down maybe 10 points lower from an average of 30 to like 20. But again, we still have this. So what I'm saying is this. We need the understanding around the projection. We cannot use all size fits all to lend in this particular sector. So, like creating a forum to sensitize banks, then the banks will also ventilate information around bankability. I think that handshake is necessary.
Okay.
And it's overdue. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Talk to us along the line of what you have said, but as it affects First Bank. I know that you have delved into the areas of infrastructure, Ebony Live, but then what does First attack? What does it do? And how can it be accessed?
Thank you very much. I'm so glad to be here. I've jotted so much notes. My notebook is almost full. Right from when the chairman started to Nkiru, and I was just writing and writing and writing. I think basically what I want to start with is that there's a major lacuna somewhere, and that's why I'm excited to be here. I'm the pioneer head of SME banking at First Bank. And we started delving into this some 2 years back, when we saw that, yes, as a bank, we touch a number of sectors, but we have generic products serving different sectors. So we started looking into different sectors. And interestingly, over a year ago, we went into this creative industry. I must admit personally, I never knew how big this industry was. And somebody mentioned it here that the figures throwing out there is underestimated, and I totally agree. When you look into the creative industry, we're looking at entertainment, media, beauty and lifestyle, hospitality, all these. By the time you break them down further, you take a deeper dive, you discover that you have so much to chew in each of these areas, not to talk of the value chain. For instance, in First Bank last year, we decided to take the bull by the horn, and we went into a decision at the senior level to try to look into the creative industry. Okay? We have not really arrived there, I must say, even though we are doing fine art, but looking at what is happening now and what I've hired today, we are yet to scratch the surface.
Any business that you want to go into. Even if you look into, for instance, recently, I got involved in the area of sports. All right? And I realized that even the sports industry is far from what a lot of people understand it to be. I'm making a report on it to say, look at, I've done some interesting studies, going to Morocco, going to some other areas, some clients. And we discovered that even some nations that are not sporting nations, like UAE, they're making a lot of money from sports. And this is part of the creative industry. So by the time you look at the creative, understand the structure, you understand who to talk to, then we begin to do business. Okay. I'm sure we'll be able to break out the meat.
When I come back to you, of course, I'm sure that people will be interested in what is it that you would want from them to get them done. Well, let's go to EMC before we come to government. EMC. EMC, I would like you to talk to us, from two perspectives. But first, looking at what Dr. Nkiru said earlier, when she said something close to how many can deal with multi-million-dollar projects, and therefore our ecosystem will need smaller funding structures so that money can permeate the industry. What has been your experience first as a lawyer and a legal mind, representing projects, representing parties, and then secondly, your specific experience with the temple company, seeking finance and making sure that the right lines are understood. Because it's a major thing when people say, oh, I got support from the bank, but I didn't realize that I was not going to make money, that they are going to come for me. What has been your own experience dealing with all those, strategic realities of seeking money coming, and then you having to repay?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Ikeja, for inviting me. It's indeed a great honor to be here. Secondly, looks like I'm going to be the Duke of Shomolu of this panel. That's because, unfortunately, I missed the chairman's remark. I also missed, unfortunately, Doctor's keynote speech. I had another engagement unfortunately I missed. So I was hoping that you wouldn't ask me that question. I'm asking again. Now, specifically, my experience regarding financing, particularly within the entertainment industry ecosystem. What I would say is, what I've noticed is this. You don't, if you do your homework well, if you present yourself in a way where you are marketable, if you do what you have to do, it will be easy for you to have conversations with people. So I'll use myself as an example. Apart from the fact that it's ethically wrong as a lawyer to market myself, without sense of humility, I think I've done, not that I know for sure, but I've worked hard enough to make myself marketable without marketing myself.
For entities has gone into all movies. The funding is talked about, is it the same as the Creative Economy Development Fund that your ministry, your supervising ministry is talking about? If it is not the same thing, talk to us about this your own fund, and how is it different from all the funding structures that the industry has enjoyed before? We would serve, the advisory panel of DOI. How is it different, and how will it be accessed? I'm asking you not just as a policy person, but also as a stakeholder in the industry and as a journalist who for close to, if not more than 30 years, was advocating for the endowment funds for the...
Good afternoon, everyone. Or good morning, everyone. It's okay afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here, and I want to thank Mighty for the invitation. And the National Film and Video Censors Board is having a major media outreach in Enugu today, and we usually take advantage of the August meeting gathering of our women from the Southeast to educate them on media consumption, especially as it concerns our families now. And that event is happening as I speak. But Mighty cannot invite you and you will not be there. Mighty is a brother, is a family, is everything. And so I told them to go and I'll be here so that I can be able to be part of this event. Right, to your question, and then of course I want to make a request. Mighty, please put Dr. Balonwu's paper on your website or something, and also the chairman's address too. It's someone who is doing so much at the National Economic Summit Group, so we need to keep hearing, reading, and knowing. And I took a lot of notes, from both of them, and of course even the SSA when they made the speech. And I want to especially recognize you for being here. All right, back to the question. I'm one person who believes that government just needs to create policies and create a enabling environment for the industry to thrive. I'm not one who believes that government should begin to give out handouts to creatives to make films or to make creative works. So even before I became executive director, I've been advocating for the fact that we need to put down sustainable policies that are sustainable. Policies that don't just come and when another government comes into office, they wipe the policy out. For instance, during the administration, and I'm talking about the difference between those funding schemes and this one now. During the administration of President Jonathan, he gave something they call, what they call it, Project Nollywood. That was basically a grant to filmmakers to make films and all that. And we quarreled with that grant, and that's because we felt that there should have been a monitoring structure, something that can make that grant sustainable. But there was nothing on ground that kept that fund going. So when another administration came, there was even no funding for the whole 8 years of that administration from government. But here is a government who believes that apart from creating a full ministry, as the SSA has said, that there is a need for us to provide certain funding for the industry. But the difference between that one and this one is that this one is part grant and part funding, a funding mechanism that you must pay back. You must give us, you must show that you can be able to pay back. And why are you paying back? Is because
the CEDF.
The CEDF, Creative Industry Development Fund, which is a product of
how much is in the kitty?
$100 million for the first tranche, and then there's another $100 million for the second tranche.
Where's the money coming from?
From Africa Exit. Yes, from Africa Exit. And then you are supposed to apply for them, and then you are supposed to make sure that you have bankable projects, because we just keep, I think Dr. mentioned something about bankable projects. But you just find out that as the thing is ongoing, applications are closed for the first tranche. Applications have just opened, I think to open on the 14th, next tomorrow, for the second tranche. They will start assessing the first tranche by the first quarter of 2025, and then they will assess the second 2026, and then they will assess the second tranche for the second quarter of 2026. The difference with this one is that it is more of building infrastructure for the industry. It is not for you to make. You can make films, maybe like 10 or 20% of the funding will go into filmmaking. But it is more about building infrastructure, distribution infrastructure, because whether you like it or not, we have problem with distribution infrastructure in the country. It is also about building studios, production infrastructure in the country. We don't have production lots. We don't have even sound stages. We don't have in this country. Only few people make efforts, personal effort, that is, people like Kule Afolayan and the rest of them make personal efforts to do this. So this fund is for the provision of infrastructure for the industry, and it is not a grant. A lot of people think it's a grant.
Is there a grant component?
Yes, there's a grant component, but just about 10 to 20%.
Okay, my question on that will be, given your trajectory in the industry, why is that component of the money, the funding, why is it not able to kickstart the endowment funds that your industry has consistently prayed for more than 20, not 30, and am I right? If not more than 30 years.
More than 30 years. Yeah. Okay. There is plan to set up the endowment fund.
That's a plan.
There's a plan, and that's because the endowment fund that we are talking about is not something that the ministry can handle. It's a thing that Federal Executive Council has to pass, so that it can be sustainable. So that whether any government comes in tomorrow, next tomorrow, or whatever, that fund will be there. So
it won't happen in the first time of the.
No, it will happen because presently now she's presenting the National Endowment Fund to federal government, and that one will be fully funded by government, especially with tax returns from entertainment tax returns and so many other returns. It will be funded by the tax returns from the entertainment industry. Okay. So she has to take it to the National Federal Executive Council for it to be passed, so that it can be
to make sure that we can come together and go into partnership to really understand this business very well. For First Bank, we are willing and ready to invest in this business.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Rio, 1.5 billion, am I correct, gone to film. But then I think earlier somebody tried to dimension what creative industry is. Sir, it is not just about film. It is not only Nollywood. Music is there, fashion is there, books, visual arts, digital, media is there, photography is there. Why are you not giving them money? Why is it only Nollywood?
All right, thank you very much, sir. For those who know Providence quite well, we can be called the octopus of the banking industry. And I have the reason for that. We support all the creative and as far as funding and support is concerned, even when the water looks murky, we try as much as possible to dip one toe and test it and see if we will sink or not. But essentially, to go deep into what you have said, the 5 million we're talking about is not even a grant. It's actually a fund allocated by my bank for this particular industry. But the truth is this:
for the creative industry.
So we are not limited to the filmmakers alone. Permit me to speak Yoruba. In other words, is the person that comes first, that I'm going to oblige first. And I will speak.
The race is for the sweet or something like that. Nollywood is sweet on that.
That will not touch on it the way I would like to do it. I probably will leave it to you guys, you do more interpretation. But the truth is this. We are happy to fund, but I think I will also lend an advice. Providence Bank, for instance, we always, I champion it. They call it the non-oil export platform. And then what I see is the fact that there is absence of the creative industry where we want to do this. I see more of the people in the agri space fighting for that space. So at a point I dragged into it the current Olori, who is into fashion, Olori Professor Olori, and she did quite well to project fashion. Then beyond that, I think the music industry is a place we have not really touched on. We spoke about sports, and I look at the way we always watch boxing in Saudi Arabia, and we don't do anything about it in Nigeria. This is the industry we can touch on. And the conversation also dovetailed to the fact that is the creative industry registered with NEPC, Nigeria Export Promotion Council? If yes, how much participation do we do with NEPC? So there is a need for us to also be present in different dimensions of the economy. We should be seen, we should be obvious. If I mention cocoa traders today, and I said there is a funding for them, and absolutely, let's even face it, I want to allocate 5 billion for cocoa traders in Nigeria. A ton of cocoa today is about 14 million naira. So if you are buying 5,000 metric tons of cocoa, it's probably way more than 5 billion. So again, if we gather ourselves together, give numbers to it. Our business is a business of numbers. I cannot assume figures. I cannot assume projection. It is what you tell me that you are making that will actually allow me to fund the project. Let's assume I'm funding today. My savings and current account cost, let's say savings account cost can be 8%. But again, the country has an MPR, monetary policy rate of 27%. If you want to place money in the bank today, you are not going to take 8% from me. So I also have fiduciary responsibility to bring money back to the investors. So if I create a niche and make it a cheaper portfolio for the creative industry, let's say I even make it a single digit. I can go to BOI, I can go to a Frexen Bank, I can go to IFC, raise specific funding, but I need to let you give me specific information around this funding. I probably might not know how many days they will sit in my brother's studio in cinema to create it. Perhaps if I go with him, maybe to say now and see how that place is, I will ask, how many days left is she film here? He tells me, oh, so it takes this long. It takes 2 years to produce. That means he doesn't need a 6 month money. He needs perhaps 4 years money before he sells. And again, another concern would be if he sells outside the country, what channel does he use to repatriate his funds to the country? Yes, because the concern of the bank is
I need to also assign the proceeds of that payment to myself to be able to repay. So it is not Red Cross. It is a business, and we have to come together to get it done. Thank you.
All right. It is not Red Cross, it is a business. You got that point. It is not Red Cross, it's a business. I'm not asking you to respond to that or to respond to what Dr. Nkiru said earlier about turning creativity into economic powerhouse. With the sort of funding that is coming from both government and banks and the private sector, do you think that we're getting enough to galvanize the industry? I think I can see the special advisor to the Lagos State Governor of Media somewhere. Last year, I'm referencing you because last year the Lagos State Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture alone, I'm not talking about the state, than 8 billion, am I correct? Went into the industry in form of support here and there in 2024. Do you think that that's something that the industry can latch on so that the idea, the story around sustainability and viability can begin to, germinate? What are your thoughts and assessments?
So I was telling him, when I think it was Dr. Shoy that mentioned $100 million to being available for creatives.
From our friends in Bar.
And I whispered to him and I said, all I hear is the figures.
Where's the money?
I don't want to. I cannot see the figures.
Dr. Shaibu, somebody whispered on your money. I think.
I will read it later. It's a fund that will be assessed from next year. It's not been assessed now. The application for the first quarter for the first tranche just closed. And the assessment has been announced publicly that the assessment will be in the first quarter of next year. And I assure you that this is not audio money. This will be assessed. But it will be assessed for projects that are sustainable. It's not really about production. It's about putting down distribution infrastructure, production infrastructure, and putting on stuff that we help to help the industry, not that it's audio money. No, I can assure you, this is not audio money.
So what are the steps that you think the industry should begin to consider and take so that we can get on the right track?
So for me, it still goes back to my initial point of putting ourselves in that sellable corner where the likes of two dogs from Providence Bank and First Bank, we will not tell us to come and meet them to have a conversation with them. Their marketers go out to get people to get loans, open bank accounts with them and all of that. We need to put ourselves in a position where these guys will come to us. They will come to Holy Apolline and say to him, "What are you doing at the film village in Oyo State? How can we be part of it? Do you want us to partner with you? Do you want us to lend you money?
You think the best approach would be for financial institutions to approach individuals doing well or to approach the industry?
The industry at large, not individuals. But then we need, I'll keep going back to it. We need to be sellable. We need to be approachable. We need to have something we need to make intellectual property very attractive. These folks are used to tangible assets. They are used to tangible collateral. We need to be able to change their mindset from making intellectual property less attractive as a collateral to being a major big deal, because it's actually a major big deal. Imagine, I'll give one example. Funke Akindele's Jennifer. That's a major intellectual property. That's a major asset. The woman has worked very hard to make it a big deal. If she goes to First Bank or Providence Bank and says, I need a loan centered around Jennifer, I don't think she will struggle to get that one.
first branch is embedded with Nkiru.
Exactly.
Isn't it? Doing good, you're doing well. All right. Okay, thank you, MC. Dr. Shaibu, you will have to wait because I don't want EME to come run into her. So let's throw it to the before your final closing remarks, which you will start. Let's throw it to the audience, and I will not allow EME to dictate the pace. We will pick two from here, although I say three, and then two from there. Ife, we'll start with you, and yes, and the other gentleman.
Thank you for sharing James with us. My question is to the bankers, and let me just read it out brief. So, my name is Obatunde Lawal. We talk about films and other creative outputs.
If I understand you correctly, you are talking about the distributaries from the main creative, maybe the support part for the creative industry. The truth is, a bank can fund any business at all. So far, it's a legitimate and within the aspiration of national growth and development, the bank can fund it. So there is no business at all that cannot be funded, just like I said. The advantage for being in the creative industry is just the fact that the type of capital we are deploying, the ease of access of the capital, the sufficiency of the capital, the cost of the capital will be the advantage of being part of the group.
The agenda, which is the presentation of plans. Chairman, sir, could you please join us? Dr. Balonwu has left. Thank you.